My name is Harry, and I talk about why I'm not so hairy. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. So, today I have something very special for you guys. I'm interviewing one of my very good friends, and I will introduce you guys to her soon. Okay, and this is my special guest today. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Tracy. How are you guys doing today?
Okay, so I met Tracey through being a support group leader. She was, losing her hair and everything and was struggling with that and needed somebody to talk to. And she ended up finding my number on the National Alopecia Areata Foundation website and called me, and we met and talked, and we have been meeting up and been friends ever since. Okay, Tracey. So my first question for you is what has your personal experience since you've, started losing your hair and everything? How does that look for you? Just tell whatever you're comfortable with from the beginning, start wherever. Just tell a little bit about like your story.
Okay. I started losing my hair about 3 years ago. I noticed it starting coming out in little clumps, and then it started to be handfuls at a time. When I would style my hair, my sink would be full of hair. My drains are clogged because of my hair loss. Um, it was devastating to me to find out that they diagnosed me with female pattern baldness. Um, haven't handled it well. That's why I reached out to Harris and started getting the support that I needed to make it through this transition in my life.
Okay, so my next question for Tracey is what was your initial like thoughts, reactions, emotions when you were first diagnosed or when you first like started noticing that your hair was falling out in the beginning?
I was devastated. I had feelings of low self esteem. Um, I was depressed. I was anxious. I was hopeless. I just felt like, really, like my life was over. I know that sounds kind of crazy because it's hair, but I really felt that my life was over because with my hair, I felt went my sexuality. With my hair, I felt went my looks. I mean, everything. I felt that I was losing. Along with my hair, I was losing parts of myself.
And I think it's so interesting, like when you're losing your hair, because that's the same way that I felt when I was losing my hair when I was 12. And, at any age, you have the same feelings and everything. And it really does feel like you're alone, but it's so crazy because everyone who
Mm-hmm.
experiences this, pretty much everybody feels the exact same way. And that's why I think the support is very important because through that you kind of realize that like, okay, I'm not alone in this. I'm not the
Mm-hmm.
only one feeling like this. So yeah, I definitely like sympathize with all the feelings that you were feeling
Mm-hmm.
and
I felt so
everything.
alone
Hmm.
and so isolated from everybody in the world, like nobody understood.
Hmm.
And I would cry, and I got to the point where I was suicidal. Literally got to the point where I was suicidal, and I had to get on some antidepressants to help pull me out of that dark spot that I was in.
Yeah.
I thought that I would never get a boyfriend again. I thought that nobody would ever be able to love me again, let alone love myself again.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm so glad you said that because
Yeah.
when you're losing your hair and you're seeing yourself change in ways that you never thought, it can be very, very hard to learn to love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the biggest things that I think that I struggled with too. It's so easy to like beat yourself up when you're in positions like that. And yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
What did I do? What didn't I do?
Hmm.
Was it due to my lack of nutrition? Was it
Yep.
due to this? Was it due to that? Was it due to stress? And it was none of those things. They told me that it was genetic and I was losing my hair.
Yep.
And that's the answer that I got.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think,
It was so scary.
yeah. Very scary. And I think like the hopelessness, like the doctor's telling you that it's nothing that you did, that kind of contributes to that because it's just, you just feel very lost
Mm-hmm.
because you're like trying to figure out what you can do to fix it, but you don't even know how it started. So
Right,
it's, yeah.
right.
Okay, Tracy. So can you describe some challenges that you face losing your hair?
Yes. Having to camouflage a lot when I style my hair. Wearing it behind my ears because it's so thin around my face. Um, some more of the challenges that I faced were real personal. It affected my self esteem tremendously. And I would struggle and struggle and struggle to style my hair. And I dreaded that part of the day, dreaded it, because I knew there wasn't a whole lot that I was going to be able to do. It was either going to turn out or it wasn't. And the majority of the time, it did not. But I masked it really well. And that was difficult.
Mhm. I know that could have been, I know it was very frustrating, especially when it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't turn out the way that you want it to, and you're in the morning, you're trying to rush and go to work, and you're trying to figure out how to cover your bald spots, and it's not working how you want it to, and it's chaotic. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. It is
I've
chaos.
been there.
Yeah, that's the perfect word for it.
Mhm.
And that's how I felt inside, very chaotic.
Mhm. Okay, so now that we've talked about some of the challenges, how have you learned to cope with some of those challenges that you faced?
By letting the people in my life know what's going
Mm,
on with me.
that's a good one.
Yeah. I'm sure they got tired of hearing about it because I talked and cried about it a lot. It seemed like that's the only conversations I was ever really having. But I got support from my friends, Paris. I got support from my colleagues. Just everybody in my life has been so supportive. Even though they don't understand, they're there to listen to me, and just do their best to support me and get me through it. Yeah.
That's good. So support. You
Support is crucial.
Yep, very crucial. I've talked
Crucial.
about the importance of support a lot throughout my videos, so it's great to have another testimony just to how important support really
Mm-hmm.
is. And to your point about, that's all that you were talking about and everything, for the viewers out there, anybody who's watching or listening, your true friends will let you talk about it as much as you
Mm-hmm.
want to. So don't ever feel bad if you're talking about it to your friends, because your true friends and family will let you talk about it till their ears fall off, honestly. So, because
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things I think that helped me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Support is crucial. If you feel alone, get support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, my next question is, have you tried any treatments to help grow your hair back, and what has that looked like for you?
I have tried everything: supplements, topicals, vitamins, everything, homemade remedies. I would look up things, what would help with hair growth, honey and vitamin E, and like all of these things I would try. I finally sought out a doctor who specializes in hair loss. And he put me on a topical that has minoxidil and latisse in it, along with a couple other things. I've also get PRP treatments, which are really, really hard to withstand. They're very painful. About 56 injections in your head. And then I went for a complete hair transplant. That's how desperate I became. Um, Not knowing whether it was going to turn out or not was the scariest. I felt like I had been scalped. I already didn't have a lot of hair to begin with. And the products and the processes that I'm now going through have slowed down the hair loss. So it has helped.
Good. So, how has your hair loss influenced your relationship with your friends, family, maybe romantic partners?
Mhm.
And like, how have you dealt with the reactions or the challenges that you've had from telling others?
Okay. I literally broke up with somebody that I was dating because of my hair loss, because I could not let him see me this way. Never told him about it. Never told him about the hair transplant. Nothing. Just faded away. With my family, um, my mom tries to understand because she suffers from hair loss as well. But for some reason, she still doesn't quite get it, which sounds really weird. Um, but she does the best to support me. One thing that I don't like is when people comment on my hair. Oh, it looks like it's growing in so thick, when you know that it's not. My daughter's been extremely supportive. My father's been supportive. They supported me all through the surgery, and still support me today. So once again, it goes back to support
Mhm.
and what can we get from the people in our lives and from our network,
Yep.
right? Especially the women.
Mm.
I think it's real important to stay close to the women during this time.
So, how do you handle questions from others related to your hair loss?
Well, there's been a couple scenarios. One is a dear, dear friend of mine. He said to me, "You're looking a little thin there, Tracey." And at that point, I ended up telling him that I was losing my hair. Another scenario, I was dating somebody, and he said to me, "Sometimes you look really beautiful to me, and then there's other angles that I look at you at, and there's just something that's not that attractive to me."
Mm.
And I know it was because of my hair loss. I mean, I didn't have any hair around my face at all. So, and I knew that it was attributed to that. I just knew intuitively what he was talking about because I felt the same way about myself when
Mm.
I looked at myself at different angles.
Yeah.
hmm And just as being as honest as I possibly can with people about what's really going on with me. And that was very scary at first.
Hmm.
How can I tell people that I'm losing my hair?
Yeah.
What are they going to think? Are they still going to love me?
Mm.
Yeah. And so far, everybody has stuck around except that boyfriend of mine. I didn't go back.
Good.
So,
Good. I think that this kind of contributes to loving yourself.
mm,
Because, when you love yourself, when you get comments like that, they can't really affect you that much if you really do love yourself. And the importance of surrounding yourself with people that really do love you, that
hmm
build you up and don't make, comments like that. I know sometimes people may not know what we're going through, but that's why you should be nice to everybody because you really don't know what somebody's going through and how your comments might affect them. You
I
don't know.
agree.
You don't know what stage they're in, and that could really, beat somebody up very
hmm
badly. So you never know. So always be careful with what you
hmm
say to others because you just truly don't know what they're
Right.
going through.
And I remember the first support group that I went with when I met Harris. Um, I left out of there feeling a little guilty because I still had some of my hair. Like, what am I complaining about here when I met so many individuals who had alopecia areata, or universal, right? So it was like I started feeling a little guilty because I still had some of my hair left, which was really crazy.
And I've actually heard that from one of our other support group members as well who had hair and just had spots. She stopped coming because she felt guilty that a lot of us didn't, even have a full head of hair. And to that, I would just say there's no reason to feel guilty at all. There's struggle in all of it. There's struggle in all of it. If I'm being honest, when I just had patches, for me, that was harder. So I almost feel guilty sometimes that, I can just like I don't have to worry about covering it or anything. So there's struggle in all of it, just like there's beauty in all of it. You can find, what works for you, but never feel guilty about it. If you need support, go get support. There's other people that might feel the same way who you can meet and relate to, and you just never know. Just get support. And because I think, once you did start meeting other people, it helped still, right?
Oh, it helped tremendously. Yeah, it helped so much.
Yeah.
Because they shared their stories with me, and they were heartfelt, from the heart stories. And I could relate to everything everybody was feeling. That's what's so cool. You finally found out that you're really not alone.
My next question is, have you found any positive aspects or any silver linings at all, even if it's just one small thing with hair loss?
Yes. It's been very humbling to me. So what ended up happening is my spiritual life started growing. I started realizing that it wasn't about what was in the mirror, but it was more about what is left inside. And it really brought me to my knees. And I turned to a higher power. So my spiritual life has gotten stronger through this process. I'm more focused on my characteristics now and strengthening them than dressing up the outside, if that makes sense. Because all that's going to fade one day anyway. So it's all about trying to build character now.
That's very good. I have not thought about that. That is really good.
Yeah.
So to wrap up my time here with Tracey, I just want to ask you, is there any advice or one last message you want to leave to everybody?
Yes. When you start noticing your hair starting to fall out, I recommend getting evaluated and getting diagnosed as quickly as you possibly can. I wished I would have done it a little sooner, right? Because for some of us, there are solutions, right? And we don't have to lose all of our hair.
True.
Once again, it all depends on what we're diagnosed with. But the greatest advice I could give, I think, is to catch it early, if at all possible. And just love yourself in spite of what's going on with your hair. And I think that's why just a few moments ago I talked about getting closer to a higher power and my spirituality growing. I think that anything you can do to bring positivity into your life during these times is really important. Wherever you can find that at. And it was a lot of prayers and a lot of tears.
Good. All right, everyone, and that wraps up this week's video. I really do just want to thank you, Tracey, for sharing your story and giving some advice. I know it will be very helpful to others out there that are dealing with hair loss in any form. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
But yeah, everyone, please just subscribe, like, comment down below, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.